What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Bev Boys, your one-stop shop for all your energy drink reviews and performance talks. I'm going to say this. Joe Rogan's got Protect Our Parks. We got Protect Our Weight Room on today. We got some excellent guests returning with us. Of course, Christian and I are here. We are the Bev Boys. But we got Terrence, Kennell, the human capybara, and we have Alex Brodjeski on with us today. We're having a good time. We're vibing. We're zooming. We're getting lit. What's going on with the boys today?
Shit, another fucking day. Played last night. Got the win over Charlotte, which is nice. Then today day off, chilling.
I gotta say, I was a little conflicted with you guys playing Charlotte. We had a player transfer there, and I love the player. Mm-hmm. Shout out Caleb Curtin. He's an incredible dude. But man, I was like, all right, fighting TKs.
What position was he?
He's a safety.
Did he play last night? Did he start?
I don't know if he starts or not. I know he plays.
White dude?
Black dude. No. Number 1.
Oh yeah, he did play. Yeah, he played.
Yeah, he's dirty.
I think he started.
Yeah, I think he's a starter. He is a dog. I will give him that.
Yeah.
You know who else is doing really well? Elon transfer, B. Tice.
B. Tice is kind of going crazy, and Kazim Moore. We watched the NC State UVA game, and Kazim was blocking his former teammate Cody Hardy, and then they would get into like a fake fight, and then they would hug each other like after every play, and the ref's just like coming over on the sidelines, and he's like, dude spazzing, has no idea that they actually just know each other.
We tried to go. We had like a special package of goals. We scored on it, and I didn't know this was a rule. Like now, so a tight end catches a touchdown.
You can't dunk it, yeah.
So he passes it to the fullback, which is really a D tackle, and then he drop spikes it, and we get a penalty. It's like the end of the game. I'm just like, man, I forgot you could do that.
Well, you can't Gronk spike.
I think what it was a tight end giving the ball
to someone else
to then spike it. The ref was like, all right, guys, all right. Like, come on.
Oh, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it.
Alex, are you smoking a cigar?
Yes, sir. Our teams are not doing so well in the team sports regard, so I need as much happy as I possibly could get. We're on a little bit of a spiral with some of our programs. They're not a stopwatch sport.
What do we got? What do we got in the cups? Or in the cans?
Well, we might be losing an energy drink sponsorship for me. I just got 32 ounces of cold brew going.
White
Shout out Wandering Bear. White Gummy Bear Rain. What do we got, French?
I got a strawberry citrus sparkling ice. Here's a little fun fact. If you come to the DR and buy one of these at the store, it'll actually have a like a bar can, like a tag on it, like you would on a shirt. So a little extra.
Is that a medium? Schmedium, hell yeah. I have a coffee cup, an amino energy, and then a mystery mug.
What flavor amino is that? Is that the strawberry one?
Juicy strawberry. And let me tell you,
strawberry one,
it's juicy.
Yeah, strawberry one's gas.
I feel like the meal's underrated.
They have such a great flavor.
Yeah.
The juicy strawberry. I love the grape and like the juicy like black cherry.
I had what did I have the other day? One of AT's he buys like his game day tradition. He buys a 12 pack of Gorilla Bind.
Hell yeah!
But it's like the vanilla cherry one.
Oh,
I'm like on it. Like if I haven't had an energy drink that morning already, like,
sacrilege.
Day, then I don't mind it. But if it's my like second energy drink that day, like I don't know what it is about it. It just does not sit right.
Damn.
If it's my first one, like I'm all for it.
Dude, the blackberry lemonade Gorilla Mine is really good too.
That one is good. I've had that before.
That one's absolute gas.
First forms, the grape one.
Oh, dude, I love. So we talked about this like a while back. I met some of the first form guys. Told them that we reviewed like their tropical thunder flavor. They all like I met them at like I think it was CSCCA NACON,
Yeah.
and the whole booth just started following us on Spotify. So shout out to the boys at First Form. If you guys want to sponsor us, I don't know. Like this could be a First Form drink. I'll put a P on here.
Yeah, this could be your logo.
I mean,
Investors, possibly you.
we're all just waiting for an opportunity to sell out. That's what everyone's doing.
I'm a mercenary. I go to the highest bidder. So whoever wants to do it. Hey, my corporate job, I tattooed their logo on my arm. I'll do that for a sponsorship.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Shout out Team Builder. Still possibly working on some details on a sponsorship for Bad Boys.
Yeah, you should use that tattoo as leverage.
Oh, we got leverage.
That's commitment.
I just picture like a team builder, like worker street. It's just like you guys, like everyone in like a hooded cloak. There's like fire going, and it's like blood in, blood out. It's like,
It's actually everyone gets to the airport, and before we even went to the ranch, everyone just got. They had a couple pops at the airport bar, and by a couple, I'm pretty sure we had 7 separate tabs open.
oh my god!
Oh, shit.
So it's one of those things. I mean, they're fun, dude. They're fun. People want to work for us more than anything else. I think mainly because of that, and then they see like videos. Like we got a recap of like the retreat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There's stuff you don't remember.
You're like, I wasn't even there for that. What are you talking about?
When did I get this tattoo? It kind of looks just like you, mixed with Zach Galifianakis. So Frenchie, we had a wonderful episode. I feel like we're going to be in for a ton of laughs today.
Yeah,
Sure. How do you want to kick this thing off?
Dude, I got something that I think TK will be able to, I mean, everyone will be able to kind of sink their teeth in here, but something I've been thinking about as far as like health and performance. So I feel like some people kind of have the view of health and performance are two different things. Some people think that they're the same thing up to a certain point, and then they kind of diverge. And then some people I feel like I've even talked to think they kind of go hand in hand. For this is for everybody, but TK especially, like with your current role and like your vast experience within the rehab space, how do you view like health versus performance? Are they the same thing? Do they diverge? Is there like a certain amount of health that's required for performance? And how do you handle like training both, especially with your like vast rehab experience?
Always go with like does health and performance. Like I think the two are parallel, but for a while, and the closer you get to like elite, and even like, just like say if you consider professional elite in college like sub elite, it's the closer you get to elite and sub elite, the more farther apart they start to diverge. Like for like I'll give an example. Like I was an example of like we had pitchers on the Astros who like maybe couldn't straighten their arm all the way. But it's like, man, it's a cost of doing business a little bit. Like, is that medically, orthopedically like healthy? Like maybe you don't have full range of motion of your shoulder. Probably not. But how many people can say they throw a ball 100 miles an hour and get paid millions of dollars to do it? So it's like always to me, it's always fun with that balance of like there's some things that are just the cost of doing business. Trying to think another example like kickers in college and like having like hip problems. It's like, yeah, man, like the moment you decided you wanted to kick in college and try to professionally, you've signed up to have hip problems for the rest of your life. And it's like that's just what it's going to be. So I think there's always a level of like you have to get them back to functionally healthy within their sport and what's required in their sport. Same thing why I don't believe in chasing like perfect asymmetries and stuff like that because like man, like if a corner is it's just a field corner, just a boundary corner. Like he plays on one side of the field. It's like he's going to be somewhat asymmetrical. He should be. If he's symmetrical, he's probably shit. Like so he's going to have to be some level of asymmetry there for him to like even function within his sport, function with the task at hand. But that is like isn't like necessarily orthopedically healthy, like per se, but it's costing doing business for the nature of the requirements, the demands of the activity. So I think that's where sometimes people get messed up, or even like also it even comes to like training too, where it's like man, like sometimes your back's gonna hurt a little bit. Like, sometimes you're gonna have you might develop a little tendinopathy in like a patella or like Achilles or something like that, or you feel pretty run down or sore. It's like that's a cost of like training to create adaptation. Like you want to create adaptation in the system, like it requires a fuck ton of stress. Like the human body, I was told the guys before, my human body is the most adaptable thing on the planet. Like, there's a reason shows like my 600-pound life exists. It's because human body is so adaptable that someone can sit on their ass and be 650 pounds and still be alive, as opposed to any other animal get even near as close of like severe morbidly obese would have died a long time ago, and the vice versa the other way. Like people who are severely anorexic, like other animals in like the ecosystem can't do that, but the human body is so adaptable they can like adapt to that level of stress either like on either ends of the spectrum essentially. Which is like a mad morbid way to like try to put it, but I feel like that's like an easy way for guys to understand it. Of like, man,
No, I
it's a
love
whole
that
lot.
example.
Yeah, it takes a whole lot for the body to change. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like especially, I mean, in baseball, it's almost like the higher you go, it's almost more common to like see someone that doesn't have something messed up with like
Yeah,
whether it's a pitcher, elbow, shoulder. Like it's like surprising when they don't have some sort of like pathology. And like I
yeah,
know like plenty of guys down here that like they come in with something, whether it's, elbow, shoulder, whatever it is, and they're still
yeah.
throwing, 94, 95 at, 17 years old. So it's clearly not, to a point. I think it's required, like you said, like the functional capability of the sport. But I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, sports, highly competitive, high level sports probably aren't the
Yeah.
most orthopedically friendly or healthy for your body.
Yeah, Usain Bolt has scoliosis. I think it was like did DeMarco said it. DeMarco was like if you MRI'd an entire Division I football team, or even Division II, or even Division III, probably in JUCO, probably 80 to 90% of the team would have probably a lateral meniscus tear or medial meniscus tear, a torn hip labrum, a bulging disc. Like it's just a cost of what it is. But tons of them are asymptomatic because the body is just used to it, adapts to the stressors.
Yep.
It creates some of those adaptations to like get used to what the task at hand is. Otherwise, you just become like some like weenie, like undertrained, like don't accomplish anything. Like sweet man, your body feels great all the time, bro. Like you can't take it with you when you fucking die. Like
I feel like to a certain extent. Go ahead, Alex.
Better to wear out than rust out.
facts.
Yeah.
The deal with health, like it's only an issue when it becomes an issue. But high performance isn't healthy. You're gonna push yourself. You're gonna deal with something. Like I'll never forget. It was like my first 3 weeks at Concordia. It was my first 3 weeks actually doing this professionally. What some freshman soccer player was deadlifting or doing RDLs with Jordan. Just like, oh, my back kind of hurts. Like, yeah, that'll go away in like 5 or 6 years. It's like
Yeah.
it's part of the deal. You signed up to push yourself hard, but then you have like the holistic side of health where if it becomes an overwhelming thing where you can't perform as a result of it, like if you, I look at things in that more proactive model that Fergus put out because I spent too much time with Kier 5 years ago, but it's like there's that more coactive model, and then you kind of got health as that watermark. And if like health is fine, you don't need to worry about it. It's just in the background. You can worry about the more coactives. But if health starts surging through, it becomes the main thing. Like Simone Biles was at the Tokyo Olympics, whatever. Like her mental health became such an overwhelming issue that she couldn't perform at all. She couldn't even get herself to show up. So evidently, big problem. But it wasn't like a physical health issue in her case. It was a mental health one, but it still creates a barrier for her to perform. Does that make sense? So it's only an issue when it's an issue, but you've got to be willing to go through some shit to perform at a high level. It's only cool because it's hard.
Yeah.
Can't you at some point can't you classify like the actual health aspect as part of either the psychological or the physical coactive in a sense, right? Like it's still it can be a detriment to the overall picture of the physical development or a detriment to the overall picture of the psychological development, and they're just they have to be pieces that you involve in it, or is it more so just like you guys had mentioned, you need to be okay because you signed up to be elite, like every elite athlete, when they're done, they're going to look at you and go, it was like, you look at Tom Brady, you look at Michael Jordan, you look at, shout out my boy Aaron Rodgers, you look at all these guys who are phenomenal at their sport, whether it be, or Usain Bolt, and they're like, yeah, I've had tons of injuries. This is messed up. You know, you look at the NFL, I look at that, like the NFL, like films, like throwback stuff. And the guys hold up their hands. You know, I can't close my pinky. I can't do that right now. And I played Division II because I just was like, I want to do that. Like I wake up every morning right now, like my knee clicks almost every single time I squat. I never had a knee injury. It's just like part of the thing that happens. Like that's things that you kind of like, it's in the implied, like it's kind of like when you get a job and it says other duties as assigned, like this is other pain as assigned. Like, do you guys like bring that forward in a conversation when you're having that with the athletes when they're like, I'm in pain or this hurts?
Oh yeah, especially if they're a rehab guy, and if they're like someone who's at long term rehab, or you get someone who's just had like maybe they come from another. So example, we had a guy came from another school, and like he had a knee surgery there, got here, had knee surgery here as well. So with that, and like there was a realization he had to have with himself. Was like, man, I was like, you signed up to probably have a knee replacement by the time you're 40 years old. Like that's just what it is. But also, you also sign up to play in front of thousands of people every Saturday, like score touchdowns, and like 1.0001% of the population can ever say they fucking did that. Like I was like, it almost like that concept. He's like, oh yeah, that's a good point. Like I was like, yeah, you other way you could be some dweeb just going to class every day, like and just be some like narp. You're a regular fucking person with lots of good stories with that.
Yeah. Like we always talk about like the trade-off of it where it's like you know we say like being a Division I college athlete in this case is it's a privilege, not a right. Like not everybody gets to do this. Like there's other things that you just have to be okay with because you get to throw a uniform on and get up on Saturdays and do that, or go play against top level competition and have thousands of people cheering your name when you do something great. Like the dark side of it is that you're going to have injuries. You're going to feel like shit when you wake up the next day or in 6 months or in 2 years or in 3 years, but no one else gets the opportunity to, you know, it's also the conversation starter when you go to squat down to pick a book up. You're like, oh shit, my knee clicked. They're like, why does your knee click? Oh, you didn't know? I was actually, but it's like that kind of thing where like Alex, you had mentioned like Simone Biles thing where like when the health kind of starts to like overtake some of those, whether it be physical or mental health, it starts to overtake those coactives. Like now it's becoming a detriment to it and you have to kind of focus. Whereas before it's more of just the watermark of, hey, like you're predominantly healthy. Like do we purposefully or at some point like have ignorance to the fact that when we get an athlete in here, we don't necessarily look at them as like, I feel weird saying this, but like we don't necessarily look at them as a human, and we don't say, hey, are they a healthy individual, well-rounded, or is it more so athlete A has a slight acute meniscus tear that we have to rehab when they come in as a freshman because they're a really good player?
You still look at them as a human for sure because you recognize that they're going to break at some point. You are trying to harden them, prepare them for the rigors of competition, prepare the kid for the road, right? But the issue becomes the balance between things, right? I don't think high performance is healthy. Like you bring up Michael Jordan, do you think his borderline psychosis towards winning is healthy for his brain? No, but it hung a lot of fucking banners. It works incredibly well, but it makes it really hard to sleep at night sometimes because you're obsessed with that thing. So I like you meant like having it in the coactives isn't fit. I don't think that high performance mindset in health is a really good thing. Like it's two different brains. Like we've talked about this offline before, where we have this super high level drive to perform, and we're over 10 of them on everything, programming, all these details and stuff, and it's just like, and we can't shut it off. But for our health, would it be better if we could just like shut it off at 5:30 in the evening? Probably. But are we hanging banners? Is that something that we want to get rid of? Because are we doing all these successful things because we won't shut off? It's like there's that balance between things. And For the kids, though, especially knowing that they aren't quite as hardened, we're the weirdos that grew up to be strength coaches and wanted to be in this shit for 80 hours a week. Like I said this at the high school, I've got like 130 sport coaches, and there's one me. So, like, by percentage this year, I'm pretty weird. So these kids aren't ready for me to go that hard. We're the cycles that want to get under 180, 280 fan tension and just hurt ourselves for fun sometimes. But the kids need to be prepared for that and psychologically prepared for hopefully the road going forward. But again, there's a balance to be struck because we got to be the nice guy too. Sometimes the coach is the one commanding playing time.
Yeah. So I guess like when we kind of look at like when you almost like break somebody mentally, right? And when I say break somebody mentally, I don't necessarily mean like put them into such a place that like everything sucks. They're always having a breakdown, but more so into the aspect of like we've now made the breakthrough from you're a very talented individual who, whether it be in the weight room or on the court, on the field, or on the track, you have all that, but like you're just able to shut it off and you never like strive past that. Like how do you guys help push them to the limit of that almost like borderline psychosis of like you want to win so bad but you can't? I don't know if there is a healthy line. Shout out Bushy Tail Benji here. I don't know if there is a line of you can turn it on and turn it off and be absolutely elite lights out. I think there's a point where essentially you have to forego the lackadaisical piece of your person. Oh, fuck, burped. Of your personality. Like you have to like let go of that lackadaisical part of your personality to where you get to that, like you can't sleep at night. You don't turn it off. You still think about this. And that's when the breakthrough happens. Like, do you guys have any examples of like an athlete that you knew that could just turn that off? And I've seen it in business to where like they're able to do that. You know, Kier's a great example you guys mentioned before of being able to just go absolutely lights out, turn it off, and be able to go take a walk and kind of flip back on and on. But like to an extent though, like the average person probably looks at him and goes, yeah, that guy doesn't turn it off. Like, you know, he's turning it off for an hour, but like he's then working at 7 p.m. and doing something like that's like they would be like, why would you do that past 5?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's ever like, I don't know if it ever turns off. I think it's like you find ways to like take your mind and have other things that you enjoy doing. Like a big one for like our guys, like a bunch of them all love playing video games, like talking shit to each other on video games. That's like a lot. That's their like time off, like their time away from football is just like play 2K, Call of Duty, whatever. Like and then also a bunch of them watch anime too together. Like and also go out to eat. It's like there are 3 things that a bunch of like love to do. They do it together all the time. But I think a big one is also like I think you have to show players like show athletes of like what the standard can be and should be, what the expectations are. I think you just have to like hold them to that to a point to where they start to hold themselves to that standard expectation, but also start to hold each other to it. And this sounds like shtick, like coach talk, but like some of that probably takes like because we've seen it kind of here, like where we were 2 years ago versus where we are now as like a group is like vastly different. And we've been lucky enough to like retain a lot of our roster, which has helped a ton in that side. But you see, there's way more like like self coaching going on, guys calling each other out, positive and negative. Or even I'll give an example, like even like our game last night. Yeah, we had 600 yards of offense. We forced for 4 turnovers. We blew them up by like 30. But like you would have in our locker room after you probably would have thought we'd lost the game because guys are pissed. But it didn't matter how we played. So I was like, that's not how we play. Like, yeah, we played. It's not about who we played and about the result. It's like, hey, is this like what's our standard that we have for each other, for our program, or whatever. And so it was very like, not like I don't know if it was mad. It's more like very like somber, I guess. I'm like very calm, just like annoyed. Like, I could have played better. We should have played better. What have you? So
Almost like a proud but not satisfied aspect to that win.
Yeah. Almost like okay, we expected to win. We have confidence that we were going to win the game, but we didn't win how we wanted to. And so I think there's a level of that, and then also like it's hard if you don't realize. I think you don't realize how hard and exhausting it is to like be consistent every day and be like, hey man, like the results not going to come soon. It's not going to come in a week, 2 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, maybe even come in 2 years, 3 years. But it just takes like having that standard expectation for yourself and for the group, and then holding that standard every single fucking day, regardless of how exhausting it is at times. Be the same person every day. Because if you're a roller coaster of emotions as a coach, also like they're gonna be the same way. Especially like from SNC side, like they're with us as hosts. They're with us more than they are as sport coaches. So it's like, man, we have to be consistent in personality, consistent in how we coach things and expectations or whatever. Otherwise, like you're gonna get the same thing out of them.
That kind of like brings me. Alex used to talk about this a lot, like especially like when we worked at Lights. And now I hear DeMarco say it, and it just starts to like kind of ring more and more true every time. But like it's like the mental toughness isn't going to be some mat drill that you do. It's like you just said, TK, the consistently coming in every single day and doing the hard shit that nobody wants to do, like waking up at 5 and staying on a consistent schedule, doing the soft tissue work that you need to get done. It's always coming in, and even if you don't want to be there for that 1 hour that you're in the weight room or 2 hours that you're in the weight room around the field, you're going to lock in, you're going to do everything that's possible and be focused or fixated on the task at hand like day in, day out, every single day. Like that's a mentally tough individual versus somebody who can go really hard for 1 hour and scream a lot when they're cutting in and out of drills going, ah! Like the mentally tough individual, I think of a guy that we have, like we have a linebacker guy he goes to bed every night at 9 p.m. That is it. It's like a non-negotiable for him. Like having these non-negotiables, goes to bed at 9 p.m., wakes up at 6, immediately does, he has his own little mobility routine that he loves to do every morning that helps him feel good. He comes and sees the trainers every single day. He comes in, I've never seen him not be engaged in a lift. And it's like the same thing. I have other kids that talk to me about him as he comes through in class. And they're like, yeah, he's taking notes while he's watching film, and he's focused on, for some reason, I don't know how, but he's focused on both. It's like those people who are able to like almost compartmentalize their life of like, this has to happen, then I focus on this, then this has to happen, then I focus on this. Like that's the mentally tough individual. The question now is, and this is great that we have kind of like, we have all the different levels right now. We have professional sports, we have high school level, we have college between me and TK, like, and we've all seen at some point probably a variety of each of these in our career. How do you get that in each level? What do you do? I feel like for us, TK, like it's a little bit easier. Like you have to just find those individuals and bring them into the program and recruit them. I feel like the largest challenge is like Alex, like you don't bring athletes in. You're kind of like privy to just what is available to you within the geographical location. Like for someone who's in that situation, like you kind of have to make it versus us. We can like choose to find it.
I mean, for me, it's trying to model it the best I can. Like one of the, like my training right now is going the best it's ever have, mainly because I have the imposed peer pressure of trying to model showing up every day, doing the right thing to 930 student athletes. But also just staying stable, like not getting too high, not getting too low. Like on the sideline, I am basically bored and look bored until we do something extremely cool. Like I don't like, oh sweet, you broke a PR, congratulate the kid, be happy for him. But it's like, well, you squatted 315, so now it's on to 320, buddy. Like you're on that treadmill. Like it's the way that it goes. But modeling it, celebrating the successes, and trying to help them reframe when things go low. Because I mean, they're high school kids, right? Like their wavelengths up and down. So I'm trying to get it to a little more stable. And also me probably having the most coaching, like true professional coaching experience on the high school staff right now. Trying to model that for the coaches too, because they get first year head coach. I mean, they might be 45 with 3 kids, but it's their first time being a head coach and handling a program, right? So having that resilience and trying to compartmentalize things, like I'm trying to set things up where, like for example, our weight room should just be a workspace. Like I hate kids sitting around and lounging in there. It's like, you're here, compartmentalize, flip the switch, train for 45 minutes, go hang out in the lobby. If you want to go sit on your phone, go hang out in the lobby. This is a workspace. You work when you're in here. This is a place. This is where you do the thing, and then you move on. That way, you can actually unplug and try to be a kid somewhere in there when you've got 6 camps in the summer and lift and all that. But it comes down to little conversations. So I don't have the secret sauce to get all 930 kids doing the same thing, but it's one kid at a time, one coach at a time, one conversation at a time, trying to help them learn to compartmentalize things, learn to lock in on things, but also realize that there is room in there to, it is okay to unplug from time to time, because high school kids, well, especially the club sports, the baseballs, the hockeys, you think, name a sport that's just burnout central right now. It's those year-round ones that everything's turning into, except football, because fortunately we're smart enough to realize that playing full contact football 52 weeks a year is a horrible idea still. But all those other sports where finding a way to be able to unplug from things, or you have this window of time, do the thing, which is we all kind of learned that in college, where it's I got a dead 45 minutes in between things here. I'm going to try to get an assignment done so I can get to bed. But getting those kids at this age to do it when they're 15, it's tough. But having them at least hear it from somebody who's gone through it before, and just maybe 1 out of 20 kids that I talk to will learn to do that, and then they start peer pressuring their friends to do the same, and things get better.
Yeah, that makes sense. Such a difficult level, because you are dealing with, because you also you have massive influence of the parents still too, like in your case, you have the sport coaches, like you said, and you also have 1,000 kids you got to worry about.
And then French for you guys.
Their number just creeped, holy shit, 945.
And French, you guys, it's honestly on a different level, because obviously they're being evaluated from every single corner before they even step to you guys. And then you're almost like the first line of defense being at the academy. Essentially, if they can't make it past what you guys put them through, they'll never kind of seem to progress in the next phase. Not necessarily just as a person or anything like that, but obviously as a player. If they're extremely talented, they can do their job well, they're able to move on and go up to through all the realms of baseball. But a lot of the people can't progress the skill because they can't essentially get into that. They're worried about, and it's hard, I think, as a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old, when they come to you, some of these guys can make $1 million on their contract, and they're worried about that versus getting to the next level. Or, they're coming in with a brand new chain. They're coming in with, they're also all of a sudden they get this influx of money and they can't adapt because it's just such a shock to the system that the whole world's in a whirlwind. And now it's they're not necessarily focused already on the task at hand, coming into practice, coming into there. So, and then you can obviously, the amount that you guys scout and actually how the physical performance coaches kind of come into the play there on the scouting aspect too, is everything you guys do, you're running tests, a battery of tests to see any of those numbers change over their development for the next level. You have X, Y, Z to make sure that something either is or is not happening. So for you guys, how does that change everything?
Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts, and it becomes even more complicated, at least to me, because you're also dealing with completely different cultures. And I think that's where it can that's if there's one thing that I've learned over the last almost 2 years being down here, it's I think I have a little better perspective. Because you think about it, obviously college kids are away from home. Some of them are further away from home than others, but we got kids here. Obviously, the Dominicans are from here, but we have a lot of Venezuelan kids they've been here since January, and they haven't went home. So they haven't, they're 16, 17 years old. You leave, your country and your family behind, and it's a little bit different from college, where you're gonna come home, you're getting a college education. This is kind of this is every kid's dream down here, is to get signed and then try to go to the big leagues. And they might have people counting on them for that. So there's I think there's a little more pressure for a lot of them. And that's kind of one thing that you have to realize is okay, they're kids, like, like Alex said. You got to have some patience, and you got to try to, even though you're never going to really understand exactly what they're going through, you can kind of try to empathize. I think as far as like the standards go, that's super important, because you're almost like teaching them, like, because even though once they sign that contract, they're professionals, like you got to teach them how to be professionals and like how to be adults, because like they're coming from, a variety of backgrounds, a little bit different educational backgrounds than you'd see in the US. That's just kind of how things are. So you have to be willing to kind of meet them where they're at, but also be willing, because like at the end of the day, like if you build a good relationship with these guys down here and like they see that you want to help them, get to the States, like that's every kid's like dream. So like if you can see them do that, and you can let them know that you're trying to do that for them, like that's going to make it a whole lot easier. I think another thing that's important down here is we're lucky we have a good amount of like coordinators coming down here. I know some teams, their coordinators don't come down here quite as much, but like putting figures like in, in their life that like have been, luckily we have a manager down here who played in the big leagues. That's huge. Like he's from DR, he played in the big leagues. Like having those like role models, I think is really big for those guys, especially like on the baseball side. Like they're just willing to listen a little bit more and like really look up to those guys. And I think if we can, take that momentum that they give us and kind of, that helps us with the coaching too. And then it's also, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts. Like we got players across 7 different locations from here to the big leagues. And there's a lot of people, some people are kind of higher on the radar than others. Like you mentioned, like some of these kids get a lot of money. Some of them get almost no money. I think an important part for me is like not treating them any different because of that, even though like, obviously if we pay someone more money, we're probably paying them more money because we think there's a better chance that they're going to help us, be a big leaguer at some point. But there's obviously always diamonds in the rough too. And, at the end of the day, like for me, like if you work hard and like are respectful, that's kind of the thing that's most important to me. The baseball thing is, you're here because you can play baseball. You're probably not here just because you're a good athlete. Some of them are, but like for the most part, these guys can throw hard and hit the ball hard. So it's a little bit different than, I don't know, it's almost like you're dealing with like high school, early college aged kids, but you want to treat them like professionals and like prepare them for that culture shock, like when they go to the States, because it's a whole lot different. I mean, they get a lot more freedom there, and luckily I think we do a fairly good job of trying to set them up for success there with like, we have an education department here that's big. I think we could probably use a little bit more of like teaching them about the financial stuff, especially the guys who get a lot of money. Because I mean, you do see the guys like, buying like chains, cars, obviously like they're going to like help their family out and stuff like that, which is great. But I don't know. I think setting the standards from day one, because a lot of them have also just never had this much structure in their life. Like we're running like on a pretty like structured schedule, 6 days a week, and we've been doing that since January. They're not used to that. They're just used to going out and playing, and maybe they've lifted weights, maybe they haven't. So like teaching them stuff that's like, it's going to be expected of them at like a higher level. Like, okay, you actually have to be on time, like show up ready to work, wear like, team attire to the weight room, stuff like that. Simple stuff that I think you might take for granted, like at a higher level when you're dealing with like a little more mature audience or people that have just kind of been in that setting for a long time, but like being willing to like stop and go back to the basics and not, get mad at them because they just never have been in this type of environment. You can't be mad at someone for never being exposed to something. You just got to be willing to kind of work with them there. So that's been my experience. I'm sure, and like, let me know. I've struggled certainly at times with that. They'll test your patience as kids will do, and I'm sure TK, like those Latin guys can be kind of a rowdy bunch, but I think that's also kind of what makes it fun being around them. Blasting Dembo in the weight room and maybe dancing more than they're working out sometimes. But that's kind of the joy of like working with them. It's like, hey, At least they're in a good mood. Now go do your set.
And in mine, I used to have like a mixed playlist of like reggaeton, like country, rock, and rap, just some for everybody. Everybody, and it was literally just my minor league playlist. And it was just, and like and I had one song of each genre just all the way through. So it'd be like, oh, reggaeton song, rap song, rock song, country song, and that same like all.
A lot of vibe
Yeah.
changes in the USF weight room.
No. Not here. It's just fucking all rap. Here's all. I literally can't. I don't listen to rap like in season, just because I actually hear it so much. Between like practice, lifts, like and like even like and because we share weight room to the sports too, all sports except for pretty much basketball and golf. So we share weight room with everybody else. Like so, I pretty much hear rap all fucking day. And so like with me and Frank, the strength coach, when we train together, like we'll put reggae on. We'll put basically anything but rap. Heavy squat day is always like house techno music, like any kind of bitch could be like reggae one day. We'll put like fucking we put the Killers. Like I'll tell them to pick a random band on like the Pandora station from like they have those songs with like all songs that make like white people go crazy. I like pick a random I might pick a random band from one like that group and they'd be like oh Paramore. I'm like, all right, I don't know, like, sure, let's fucking do it.
I don't know if you know this, I'm going crazy right now.
So like, we'll pick something like that, like we like for our own training, just because in season we just hear rap so much of the day.
You almost like get fatigued on it.
Oh, for sure. Game day, I'm like, I'm like no rap music. Like if I want to bust to the stadium, whatever, listen to reggae or like podcast or something. Like,
yeah. That's what I feel like. At a certain point, you like 2 weeks after the season, you're like, I actually don't want to hear like any music at all. Or you're only listening to like podcasts or something. Yeah. And then 2 weeks, it's like when people would like in college, they'd be like, yeah, I went on a bender, so I'm just not going to drink till next week. Like that kind of thing. Like you're almost like going like a rap bender because every kid loves rap. Like, and there's like no issues with it. It's just like, you hear it for like 8 hours a day. You're like something else. Just anything else. I'll take. Give me some Adele. Like, how about we rock that right now?
Yeah, please don't give me another Gunna song. Like another NBA YoungBoy. Like I'm good, dude. Like, I'm all right.
The NBA YoungBoy craze in like 2023.
Yeah, I was just like, I can't do this. I mean, one thing I'm happy about, and this is probably like it's by my own bias, as I do like Rod Wave's music. But I just can't stand it in like a training environment.
It's too slow.
So this year, and so, I mean it's N=1, but since we played a little bit better, as we played the last 2 years, we played no Rod Wave in the weight room all year. I'm not saying it's a thing. I'm just saying it's a thing.
I'm like people will tell me like that's like the worst one is like, well, number one, I'm a strength coach, not a DJ, so like. I'm not gonna sit there and just queue up a million songs for you. But like every once in a while, when an athlete's like, "Can we play this?" I'm like, "All right, sure, let's throw this on." And all of a sudden, it comes on. It's a major like everyone's hyped, and all of a sudden, it just goes to like this like slow song. I'm like, "What are we doing? Like that? Why would you do that?" Like, and it's not even like they're doing it as a jokes where you're like, "Ha ha ha ha!" Like I'll skip it, go to the next one, and just carry on. It's legitimately they're like, I mean, great song, right? Like this isn't like we're sitting in a car, man. We're not on a road trip. Like, I need you to hit a 33-inch jump right now. Are you going to do that to this?
We just do like we have like an iPod, like old school like iPod to like the music in the weight room.
Hell yeah.
We just have like Pandora. We just like click artists. So future radio, whatever plays. Like we're not going like switch the songs constantly. Like our boss is like, I'm not fucking your DJ. Like I'm gonna have it. My boss like keeps it in his hand the entire time doing it. He's like, no one else is fucking touching it. Like, we're not changing the music a million times. Now, on our Devo Friday morning lifts, that's whatever we choose. Like, this past, we did Pavarotti, the Italian opera singer.
Hell yeah.
Opera singer. We did that was this past Friday. The week before was, I think, nursery rhymes. It's just torture. We've done Disney. You know Big Daddy Mark? on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, we did that Big Daddy Mark last year, an hour straight of Big Daddy Mark as guys are doing like rear foot elevated, hands support, split squat, like a 3-second eccentric and a 3-second ISO.
It's all about the game.
We'll probably go like, we did this like Mongolian like throat singing. Yeah.
Dude, the most volatile one is the 60 beats per minute metronome. I got
I
so
was
sick.
just gonna say that metronome.
I got so sick of kids asking to play this, play that. Like one time I was like, whole lift. That's it.
Yeah.
Or like the metronome, or just like no music, dead silent. Just hear yourself breathe.
That silence on a mouth tape circuit, that's just torture. You're gonna listen to yourself breathe heavy through your nose because you've been such spit bags for the last 2 weeks.
Eagle Fries. That's probably like one of the highlights of our as a strength staff of our week is like picking the music. Like first in morning, we'll be like, all right, what music we're going with? I think like next week we might go like Kubla Khan, like death metal.
Kubla Khan is amazing. I played that. They were like, I did that one last week. They were like, oh, can you play, like, we want to listen to Young Thug, which, shout out Young Thug. He might be a criminal, but man, he does make some good music. Hercules is a great song. But I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. And I just queued up like 8 Kubla Khan songs. And I stared at the athlete, and she was like, this isn't it. I was like, this is it.
It's good, but it's cute. Like 9 songs later.
I do what I was like, man. Every time I walk into like work today, and they'll come on, I'd be like Frank Sinatra, and I'd be like, oh my god.
It's like
there's a bunch of 18, there's a bunch of like 18 to 19, 20-year-olds of like who just like never heard any of his music before in their entire life. Like what the fuck are we listening to?
It's like
it's like Let It Go. It's like a Hatfield squat with like 400 pounds in the bar, like a 5-second eccentric.
To a certain point, like we get like, did you ever see the movie The Goods, Live Hard, Sell Hard?
Yeah.
Like Craig Robinson when he was the DJ, he's like, nobody tells DJ Request what to do.
DJ, you play what you want. You're in charge.
Don't ever let them break you. Dude, I got one. We're kind of on a little fun vibe here, but I want to like, what do you guys consider to be like a career death sentence? Like, what is a move that you do that would just be a death sentence in your career? Obviously, killing a kid, that's one, but
Well, you think so, but
That
that'll
might
get
be an
you
actual death sentence. That might be an actual death
put on a
sentence.
T-shirt. Like I thought
True.
you could put the kid on a T-shirt,
totally.
but it's the other way around.
I feel like there's a couple, like obviously like the obvious ones of like immensely hurting somebody with like gross negligence, like could be a move, like inappropriate behavior with an athlete, like, but outside of the ones that it's like, hey, you're just a shit human being, you shouldn't have any job. Like, what are like career death sentences?
I would say dropping down to D3, trying to be a head coach there, because nobody gives a fuck about what you do down at Division 3 levels. I'll tell you that much. You got to bust your ass to get back through that glass ceiling. Despite the fact there's a lot of Division Ones whose Olympic director spots would be better served by having somebody with Division 3 experience, because if you're going to task somebody with 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 fucking teams, they got to be able to balance that shit out. But there's we got to keep in mind that most people, when they're hired, the people that hire head strength coaches are not strength coaches; they are administrators. So they love seeing logos, they love seeing levels, they love that because they're. I mean, you can. There's some administrators that get that there's differences between the divisions, but it's not necessarily better. Like there's an entire league of Division One non-scholarship teams that like St. Thomas rolled up into and beat most of them their first year in their Division 3 school, right? So like the quality of play doesn't really matter based on the division, and the quality of training doesn't necessarily matter based on the division. But again, administrators are the ones that hire the head guy. So your skill set that you develop to get your assistant job, you got to start advertising to administrators. And unfortunately, Division 2 doesn't look nearly as good on the resume as all the Division 1 stuff. My time in Division 1 is the reason why I've gotten all the jobs that I've had since. Fortunately, I just know how to explain things away rather quickly because I just keep getting paid more and getting less responsibility. So why would you turn that down?
Chess not checkers.
You make a good point with that, though. Like, we've talked about this too. Like, the coach who has to do more with less is probably the better coach. And if you give them the tools to have more around them, they'll probably be far more successful than someone who's always been in that environment. Where, like, a Division 3 coach, if you step them up, put them at a Division 1 with all the resources, by comparison to what they had in D3, but they've already made do with so much less, they would probably thrive in that environment.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And they'd have
having 40 kids and 400 kids. The level of fucking detail that you can get down to, it's
Like, if you go from 16 teams as like a singular guy to now you have 4 teams and 5 assistants, like, there's a certain level of, like, you're going to see productivity off the charts. Yeah. I think that should be a culture shift where you see some Division 3 guys make the jump because of that. It won't happen.
Yeah, because the bit too is like, I think Uncle Ray, he did We're in Marriage. Like, he calls it working in the pit. He's like at some point, he's like, parts of your career is like you have to spend time in the pit. Where, like, you're under resourced, understaffed, like undermanned. He's like, but just what, you gotta get the fucking job done either way. He's like, those people turn out the best coaches. Like, I remember when I was an intern at Arkansas State. We didn't have a fucking jump man. We had a Vertec. We didn't have, like, now I see places that, like, you got a million iPads, they got Purge, they got force plates, but, like, no one can fucking coach the way out of a paper bag, and no one has any principles of programming. And it's like, dude, like, it's like we put the cart and the chicken and everything else before the fucking horse. like it's like okay, sweet man, you got 3 force plates, you got VBT, you got GPS, but it's like, do you even understand the demands of, like, space manipulation for practice? Like, do you guys even train hard to begin with? Like, why need a VBT? Like, you got, like, no one lifts a weight. You don't prescribe any weight. Like, I know places that they have VBT, but no one prescribes a single percentage or a single load. What the fuck are you doing with a velocity-based training system, man? Like, you don't even know what weight guys are using. Guys are using whatever weight they feel like that day. Oh, just whatever you feel. It's like, why are you wasting money on perch then, or gym aware? Like, maybe learn how to program first. Maybe learn how to prescribe actual load and weight and actually progressively overload. Maybe go back and read fucking Starting Your Strength by Mark Ripito, for God's sake. Like, it's just like, bro, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, got $1,500 for the tech and 95 pounds on the bar for a grown ass man. Like, fuck up right here.
Yeah, like these people, like guys, like, don't. And some of it comes because you have a lot of. I mean, you do have a lot of strength coaches who don't train themselves anymore, because training yourself has become. So it's weird, like, training yourself hard. People think it makes you like a Neanderthal for some reason. Now it's like oh, like, just meathead, like, old school strength coach. Like, man, in a lot of respects, like, dudes like Billy Gillespie were right. Y'all are fucking bitches. Like, you gotta fucking train yourself hard. Like, and everyone uses this excuse of, like, oh, well, I'm married. Oh, I have kids. I'm married with 2 kids, both under 5 years old. So I train like 8 to 10 hours a week. Like, I'm still work a ton. Like, you just make the time. It's a priority. If it means you gotta wake up at 3:30 in the morning, you fucking wake up at 3:30 in the morning and not be a fucking bitch. Like, have some self respect.
Yeah, you're supposed to do it, right?
Yeah. It's just like, oh, we're trading D cell and you drop it off a 12-inch box. Oh, sweet, bro. Like, what's his squat? Oh, he squats 200 pounds. Great. He's a grown man who's 230. Good shit, dude. Like, just a fucking joke with some of these people. Like, people don't understand training, don't understand principles of training. Like, they want to buy all the technology. Everyone wants to be a sports scientist. Everyone wants to be like this new savant. Everyone has a mentorship or a course or whatever. And it's like, bro, like, look at your training. Your training is dog shit. Like, you guys aren't fast, you guys aren't strong. Like, you shouldn't be educating anybody. You need to be educating no one but yourself first. Like actually train. Like, what are you doing? Like, well, then if you train hard, that's why strength coaches, like, barely post their lifts anymore. I feel like, because unless it's like doing like Squattober or December or something stupid like that, because none of them train hard. And if you train yourself hard, you're like a Neanderthal. And it's like, bro, like, you can train yourself hard and also train your team hard and, like, not be an idiot. Like, you can still train super hard. You can still push your team in the weight room, push them on the field. Not everything's sprinting. Not everything's isometrics and eccentrics and everything's fucking decel training. Like sometimes you just gotta train, develop a system, train, like actually push yourself and push like your athletes like to the brink. You gotta surf that fucking razor's edge. That's the whole point of what we do.
So you think like we've almost like overcorrected from like the old school mentality of like they only want to train hard all the time on themselves,
Yeah.
and then that's what they influence into their kids. To now we've gotten so I'm going to say pseudo cerebral because I think a lot of people aren't as cerebral as they put out to be. There's a lot of like
Hell no.
it's a lot of like I want to believe and I think I am that smart, so I want you to think I'm that smart, so I'm going to talk in big words. Well, guess what? Those are a lot of big words that I don't think you or I understand, so I'm going to take it as a direct offense, and I'm going to be upset about it right now.
Yeah. I get out of here with your fucking fascia training bullshit. Like, show me how you can measure fascia. I've been in a cadaver lab. I've like seen fascia on a actual human. It's hard as concrete. You doing this viper lateral lunge to fucking twist across your body isn't training fascia. You're just soft. Like you're any kind of tension and adaptation of fascia. It's tons of high tensile force, tons of maximal force and speed for it to change. Doing some viper lateral lunge or doing some crossbody chop is a training fascia. It's just a different plane of motion, buddy. It's okay. Like you know, I get it. You know, you're a businessman. Everyone wants to sell shit, but that's just bullshit. And everyone wants to look at like the Werner Gunther video that's been like compressed down 1,000,000-fold at this point. People like love it, right? Or even like the old school like Boyd Epley and like Nebraska training videos. Like dudes are fucking jacked. Like doing like basic change direction drills, sprinting, like lifting heavy, doing box jumps, doing cleans, and it's like, man, that's fucking awesome. But you see places now like people don't really lift that heavy. Like a lot of kids aren't even actually that strong. They're just like kind of strong based on just pure genetics and like a little bit of training exposure. But it's like, man, all right, you got 3 singles at 90% today. Guys are like, well, I don't know what 90% is. Oh, 90% is going to be this. I've never trained with this much weight before, and that's because you're not actually strong. This is what being actually strong looks like.
You could almost say then like a career death sentence would becoming a ex guy, like you or an ex coach, right? Whatever you want to call it. But like I'm a strength guy, I'm a hype guy, I'm a speed guy, I'm a fascia guy. Like becoming like you're so dialed in on one aspect of training that you're not well versed in the other realms of it, that you limit your capability as a coach because you only feel like you know or want to focus on one thing. So you never really address anything else enough within enough capacity to become a well-rounded coach as well as a well-rounded athlete to have that in the toolbox to be able to chase that rabbit. And that's a limiting factor on a career in the sense because now, like, regardless of what anyone says, like the perception is the reality. So when someone perceives you as you're this, now you're limited to that. They've now put you in a box. They're not hiring for that position. So you're in that box. You don't fit the bill. They can't hire you. It's not going to make sense in their eyes.
Yeah.
That's a death sentence.
Yeah. Spending too much time trying to learn from social media, career death sentence. Because most people on social media are like they're doing the Joe Rogan level of education. They have like a surface level of knowledge about.
Hey, chill.
But like we asked like it needs a slight bit of depth. There's nothing there. Like I remember someone used to work for in England and Tom Farrow. I think he said the 5 whys. And he's like, if you can't answer like at least 3 or 5 whys of like your programming or what you're doing, principles, like you don't understand it. And so I do to so even like challenge like interns when they say, hey, show me a program, whatever. I'm like, why? And it's like, man, if you can't get to 3 out of 5, like you don't understand it enough, you need to go back and read more. So also, you might stop learning from social media. Like, go read a book. Go read a book. Go read an article. The person who they're talking with the training system they're talking about on that podcast. Go find out who came up with it. Like, don't just read Fergus Connolly's Game Changer. Read Tactical Periodization by Vitor Fraud and Jose Mourinho, who actually like invented tactical periodization. Because that's all Fergus just took that, made it a little prettier of a book, put cool graphics in it, and then just like said it's his. But like read Vitor Fraud, who invented tactical periodization in like the 80s or whatever. Or like they read like Governing Dynamics of Coaching by like James Smith, and then like read Game Changers. Then you get a greater idea, understanding. Same thing. It's like, oh, you want to read people look at triphaser training. It's like go find some Dre Shoulder stuff. Go read DB Hammer. Go read some of the special strength stuff, and then you see how it all coincides as one. It's like get off Twitter and Instagram. Like most
Yep.
people really don't. Most people don't know shit. They're just posting all the time. So like, you know, just go find actual resources and books.
That brings up a good point too. Is like a lot of people treat a book like a checklist item,
Yeah,
where they say I read that so I know it, versus like I read that led me to take on this, read this thing or watch this video, this training idea, like dig into this, and then I come back to it because there may be a conflicting idea or it's an expansion on this, but now I understand the underlying concept better, so I come back, I want to expand on the underlying concept to grasp it with a bigger knowledge. Like instead of keeping it as an actual library to then regularly pull from, they go, I read that book. Okay, now I'm going to read this book. Okay, now I'm going to read this other book, and I'm going to read this book. And it's like once it's been read, it's almost like it's treated as if it can never be touched again.
yeah. It's like a reference you always go back to. I mean, it was someone I think I heard on a podcast once said, but they were like, don't just read your book, but like go to the references of the book and then read some of those references, and then you get a deeper understanding of where this person's book kind of came from, how they drew up their conclusions to understanding of things. But
It's like
just lazy,
yeah,
we're not lazy as a profession in a way. Like it's almost like too much access to information easily because like our phones, and, like people don't want to read, people don't want to try things out themselves. Like I know coaches who they'll write something, but like, they'll never try it themselves. I'm like you don't know what that feels like. You should see what if you okay. You want to do a full triphasic program. You want to do Eastern for every single exercise. It's like take yourself through that first before you have someone else do it. Like understand how that's gonna feel.
because it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that in season, 3 days a week. Let's see how that goes for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the book thing you just talked about. It's like people will say like, oh, like I want to read 30 books this year, but like, are you actually taking anything from that? Or you because like, dude, some of those books, like some of those training books, like the old school ones, I can't read that, and like that's just kind of dense and goes a little bit over my head. If you treat it like that, like you might as well not read it at all, to be honest. Like there's some books like, okay, like I can read Atomic Habits in a week or whatever, or like a book like that. But some of those old school training books are like a little bit more dense, and like you might be better off served like taking a couple months reading that and like actually like taking notes and like slowing down a little bit rather than just saying like, oh, I've read all these books, so therefore I know everything in these books, rather than just
Frenchie, give me a topic. We need a good topic to start to lead us into the back half of this.
Dude, let's go into. I like the one oh actually no, I've been thinking about this too. So you talked about like force plates and like when you think about like technology in general and force plates specifically, do you look at force plates as a way to monitor fatigue? Say if you do a CMJ, or do you just look at it as a way of seeing how your training is affecting you? Because I feel like some people like to say, okay, this metric's down, I need to adjust the training. But on the other side of that, isn't the whole point of training to like stress the body and dig you into a hole that you can adapt out of? And if you never let yourself get into that hole, you're never going to adapt. I don't know. That's something that I've kind of been thinking about. I think GPS, because to me, like the workload that's important to monitor is more so on the field. Obviously, you got to be like smart in the weight room. You can't just just go German volume training if like right off the bat. But like I think like the catapult stuff and the GPS is probably a little bit more important because that's where the volume's really going to add up is on the field. Do you see like things like force plates as a way to monitor and adjust volume and address fatigue, or do you just see it as a tool to see like how your training is affecting you? Because the whole point of training is to like adapt. It's not to always keep you fresh. Like you said, if you're always fresh, you're probably not training or not training hard enough.
I think force plates. I think the idea of force plates being used as like to monitor fatigue is like one of the biggest lies in sports science and it's about it's a made up lie about big force play. just because Hawking involved tell you should and tell you should jump 3 times a week and like look this is trending it down doesn't mean it's accurate at all because you have to take into the fact of like monitoring jump fatigue, like guys don't want to do it. The jump quality, jump changes a ton. Like that's some we did it at UMass. We did it for an entire year. Saw zero correlation anything. At the Astros, we did it for like 2 years, and it was zero correlation to any level of fatigue. Like it's just jumping so far away and so isolated from actual activity that it just doesn't do enough to truly tell you about like, true fatigue. And it's not like we jump our guys here every week. And, like we do it more to see like more for kind of rehab guys and get a bit of baseline data for like if someone does get injured. But from a true fatigue monitor standpoint, like I think it's kind of like horseshit in a lot of ways. I think get an idea of how your training's affecting you and impacting you from like adaptation standpoint. If you're trying to get things, make guys more powerful, a little more twitchy, more elastic, stuff like that, you can see those qualities increase or decrease based on the training adaptation you're trying to elicit. But from a fatigue standpoint, I don't think it's clear enough. Like we have some guys here like that you measure HRV with with our first speed heart units. And like to me, that's a true measure of fatigue because internal is something you can't really cheat. It's much harder to cheat and normalize this, and we can do it every day, and it doesn't require any active thing. It's completely passive the entire time. GPS data is valuable, but I think it's only as valuable as the impact you can have on it. Like a lot of places like have GPS data, but their coaches don't care at all. Like if coaches don't care about any GPS data, like it doesn't really serve you a purpose aside from like knowing what you need to get the guys ready for. Like coaches don't give a crap about any kind of practice adjustments, even like rehab adjustments for guys at the re-entry into practice. Then like doesn't serve a ton of purpose other than just like an idea of how fast you run, how far you need to run, what's the volume, density, intensities they need exposure to, and they kind of build backwards from there to get to practice or camp or whatever. But yeah, I think force plate to be used to jump all the time is for like monitor fatigue is a shill about big force plate.
Yeah, I feel like you can just like cheat it so easily, or you like you'd be tired and grit through. It's a jump. It's not like you're doing like a extensive test. Like I can jump 3 times and grit through it, even though I'm tired.
Yeah.
And I've seen that with our guys.
Like we have
Jump strategy too.
Yeah, we have strategy versus output metrics, but even like those can vary a ton. And it's like, oh yeah, we collect enough data, you get an idea of norm ranges. It's like, but jumping is not sprinting. It's not running a route. It's not catching the ball. It's not making a tackle. It's not throwing a baseball. Like it's just so far away from actual activity.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Like it's just so I don't know. Yeah, you can just grit through it so easily.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think people? So is it worth it? Because I feel like, is it worth it to have a force plate? Do you think most people use it wrongly, or is it just good enough to have like a jump mat? Because I know we've talked about like everyone wants to have all the tech, but they want that to replace like the actual hard training and the actual like coaching. And I think that's, especially in sports where data is big, like baseball for one of them. And I mean, all the big sports are really getting into sports science.
Yeah.
What do you see it as? Because to me, like jumping 3 times a week just means they're probably going to get really good at doing a counter movement jump with their hands on their hips.
Yeah.
You're not going to really see, I don't think you're going to see any different trends than you would if you jump like once every week or 2 weeks or whatever. It's probably just going to go along with the trends of training. I don't know. Is that the biggest thing you think people use it wrongly?
I don't know if it's like use it wrongly. It's just trying to find things that aren't there. I think the biggest thing, I think force plates are useful and like how you either track some of your training, but mainly like how you look at like from a rehab standpoint, guys building back to help objectify those rehab processes. But I think outside of that, it's not like the most useful thing in the world. Like I think the idea of using it to monitor fatigue is just like not accurate. enough for me. But also, I don't think like you don't have to have a force plate. Like people were doing rehabs stuff like that way before force plates existed. So I always think there's like that piece of it. But I think force plates do serve a purpose in that return to play setting, getting an idea of baseline data for guys, seeing if guys are if their ECG peak velocities increase, their RSIs increase, things like that. But from like a fatigue monitoring standpoint, I just don't think it's there.
I think it also takes a little too much time to do it like daily for a fatigue monitoring standpoint. Like I think how long does the average like force plate test take? Like 3 to 5 minutes. Like you don't have that for 50 guys to start a session. Even if it is only like 3 minutes, but like it's easier. Like Alex, I know we did this when I was an athlete at CSP. It was 3 jumps on the jump mat. Like if your data is reliable, it doesn't have to be essentially as valid, because if it's going to be replicable every single time and you just know that that's the new baseline, once it's established, you're able to move forward and progress it faster. Like everyone's really big on like load monitoring in that sense, to where the biggest thing is just, do you have a established kind of standard, and how far do you deviate from that standard regardless of whatever you're using to measure it? And if it takes less time, then it's also, and it's, if it takes less time, it's less skillful. It's now less inhibitive to the session. And now it's easier to do in real time, replicate in a mass produced product, and move forward with in some kind of data that you can take and actually make a decision off of, which I think we've gone so far away from in the field of actually making a decision based off of the data that you're using to collect to reflect the training. They're very big on collecting data, but it's not necessarily, we've done X amount of training and I'm just trying to see how well that worked. And now I'm going to use this to just see the implications of that training to now make a new change based on the data. Everyone wants to be data driven and everything, but instead of being like assisted by that data to prove the bias of what you wanted to happen. It's a research in a miniature study of, you have a hypothesis and a null hypothesis.
The problem is the trade those changes. You got to train hard first. Most people just load. Everyone's load monitoring, but they're not providing any load to monitor.
True.
So it's like everyone's like, oh, we're doing like load management. It's like, well, there's no load for you to manage. Like you guys don't train hard, you don't condition hard, you don't sprint enough, you don't do your repeat sprint ability work. So it's like, what are you managing? You're just detraining.
Yeah, that's all it is.
You're trying to justify your detraining to sound intelligent. And that's what you see in like. I guess to the points that you see in like NBA, you see this a little bit in NFL, like early on in the season, but that with tons of injuries built up. It's like, man, like guys don't have enough time. Guys don't get coaches don't get enough time to train, prepare their team, and then because they don't get enough time to train, prepare a team, you have to manage an already like underloaded, underdeveloped system or fragile system because they hadn't had time to become robust. Because you haven't provided the organizations or teams or whatever, the coaches, with that time to actually prepare their athletes. And then it just becomes this truly survivorship bias of like whoever survives. That's why the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, like you see always guys just go down constantly everywhere. It's like, man, like because it's going to take them 7 weeks to actually feel good, to be ready to actually play. And that's why the quality of play always significantly rises. Part of the reason why it significantly rises week 7, 8 of like NFL season, because guys are just healthier. Mm-hmm. They've like adapted to playing again. They've adapted to getting hit. They've adapted to having to run and XL, decel ton and sprint, things like that.
Completely agree.
With the load monitoring side of things, is that you actually do need to be fucking driving adaptation. Like with the jump mat stuff that we were doing at Concordia, is like to counter TK's point about it being fucking useless for load monitoring. It's like our Monday sessions were fucking hard. So if you come in on a Thursday and you got to meet Saturday, and I'm trying to make sure I'm not going to blow your hamstring off, it's like, all right, let's see if you can actually go. Are you like within 95? Have you recovered from Monday yet? Because like my super max due on Monday in season, so like you might not be. And on the flip side of that too, and the alternative is the mouth-tape aerobic circuit that nobody enjoys doing. They typically do a better job of taking care of themselves Tuesday, Wednesday. They might go to sleep. They might actually take heed of all those things that you tell them are good for their health, so that they don't need to do the circuit on Thursday, and then you might be able to do some sweet stuff. But yeah, doing it 3 days a week, I've never had the opportunity to do that. I've never seen a force plate in person, frankly, because what's money? But if we like the benefit that I see from doing it frequently is that it becomes a physiological measure instead of a skill one, because you do get good at hands-on jumping. So at that point, it's like, all right, if your jump goes up 3 inches, you've probably actually gotten stronger legs, better and all those sorts of things. Which, when you have a sports science budget of $7 and good intentions, you make do.
The other thing with the force plate that I'm not a huge fan of is you have to jump a specific way, and you almost limit the capacity, and you have to teach a new skill of jumping like that. Alex, you saw this kind of firsthand of like that almost like drop in to the jump where the feet come off the ground. You can't really do that on a force plate unless you get to an exact place within the software to make sure that it's like a free jump type of deal. But it has to be like feet maintain full contact on the ground. If it's over a certain threshold, it's not going to read. You limit the capacity at which the athlete can perform. And now it's so skewed because now you have the skill development piece of you're just getting better at the test, or we're not as good at the test of whatever it is. So it's going to make a problem for everybody. Whereas, the more remedial piece of equipment, which would be like a jump mat in some sort or something else, it's not taking that into account because it's not trying to read as many metrics, so it's not going to pick that up. So it's basically like, I just want the height. That's what matters for this sake in this piece. Let's just focus on that. Let's get the more remedial piece of equipment that allows us to move more efficiently and be everything we need to get done without being all the extra shit that's going to cause, that vague and unclear kind of smoke in the water picture. Or we've now have to repeat the test 17 times. And by the time it does read something, the athlete's now gotten 36 jumps in 5 minutes. So I don't know, like, especially when it comes, like, I agree with you. I think, like, I agree on both points, mainly from the fact of, like, I think load monitoring, when you are actually loading somebody, I think it's a good thing. I think the force plate is not a great way to do that in any way, shape, or form because of the time it takes, the finicky nature of the device. When the more remedial thing that we've done, and maybe that's like a survivor bias on using the more remedial thing, I think that's a better way to do it because it's just easier, it's faster. I'm not kind of fighting through the fog on that. And it's just like bing, bang, boom. I have everybody done within the first 3 minutes of my session. We can begin our work.
Yeah. Like I say, I just like nowadays the software's pretty quick. You can like go through the guys like pretty fast. But even some just like, man, this isn't really telling me. This isn't really telling us what we think it's telling us. So like, it's not telling me a whole lot because there's strategy changes. They get tired of jumping. I like it from like purely like a baseline standpoint, so we can build backwards from, and then seeing if some of the training adaptations we want, like an off season time or in season time, is actually happening. But then outside of that, I'm good.
Whatever happened to just asking a kid how they feel?
Yeah, like it's
not cool anymore.
Yeah. How you doing, man? Yeah, like does everybody look?
Holy shit, we're actually burned out this week. Everybody's dead. Right?
Yeah, or you have the old like. I remember Buddy Moore's had this quote that I've heard him say it probably a million times at this point. Of like, he always tell his team felt based on how the warm up was. He's like, and if they were chatty Cathy like the Golden Girls, and like he knew they felt really good, and if they were dead silent like fucking deer in the headlights, oh okay, we gotta adjust like that, and that's literally like exactly how like our defense side of the ball. We have like we split all this defense and training. Like you can 100% tell like when they're talking loud, joking around, laughing in the warm up, like oh like they're ready to fucking roll today. But then when it's like more silent and like they're kind of like not really want to be there, he tells them, oh, okay, like they're cooked, but we gotta adjust. And it pretty much to the T almost every time. The days where they're like talking a bunch, like absolute crazy, messing with each other, putting each other in headlock, trying before the warm up starts, stuff like that. Other days were like, oh man, every DB ran 22 miles an hour today.
We're in a good spot.
Yeah.
I get excited when a room is hard to control and it's just a group of feral dogs that are just like, okay, guys, just give me 4 minutes of prep so we can not snap a hamstring off because I know it's probably going to be a good day, but it's like they're just a bunch of sad boys laying around on foam rollers. Like, all right, well, we're trying to actually do something hard today, so might be rough.
Yeah, 100%. When just a pack of hyenas, you're like, oh, okay, we're ready to go. Let's do this.
Yeah. We got some energy.
Yeah.
I know everyone's got lives to get to and responsibilities because we're adults and have real jobs. Unfortunately, can't podcast for a living. One day. One day yet.
Wandering Bear, sponsor us, please.
But I do want to ask one final question. Like, if French and I have talked about this 1,000 times, but we never really ask a lot of guests. Like, if you could have one flavor, like you get a signature flavor of an energy drink, what would you pick?
Give us the whole like breakdown too. Like what? How much
give it to us.
Any special ingredients? Size of the can.
See, energy drink. Give me. See, I'm not a big can guy. Like I prefer give me like 16 ounces, bro. Like I don't need 32. Like I'm not trying to hold. I just don't want to drink that much liquid at first thing in the morning. So give me like 16 ounces, but give me 300 milligrams of caffeine. Like all gas, no breaks. Like don't give me 100, like 110. Like we're not children. Like
none of that Red Bull shit.
As estimates, if Red Bull came out with like a Red Bull Extra and it was like 200 milligrams of caffeine, like I would do everything I can to try to get a Red Bull sponsorship.
TK skydiving off of a building to land out of the field pre-session.
Like, I don't know if y'all seen that video of that guy like dropping in from like
incredible
feet.
On the building.
Like they were like, hey, if you do this, like you'll give free Red Bull for life. I'd be like, let's fucking ride. Like I get my board immediately. So I forget. So probably like 16 ounces, like 14, 16 ounces, 200 milligrams of caffeine. Man, I'm either probably like a cherry cola flavor, because I really like that flavor stuff, or like the June berry like Red Bull.
That is really. It's like this, like kind of like it's kind of like a lingonberry kind of syrup kind of like flavor.
Yeah, give me the summertime June berry. Give me cherry cola in the fall.
Oh, he wants seasonal flavors.
Yeah.
Alex?
So I'd go with 60-ounce can. I was a huge fan of the Monster BFCs back in the day, but there's if you let those things sit a little bit too long, it gets a little warm. So if you break it into 16s, I'll always buy 2 of them, get 2 for 1. Celsius had that Applejack flavor of heat back in the day.
Yeah.
But Applejack, that's the flavor for sure. It tasted like Applejack, but with 300 milligrams of caffeine and all the pre-workout fixings. That was cool. Get 2 of those in you before the Devo lift in the morning, and you got a whole other personality coming out of you. Probably that. 200 milligrams of caffeine for 16, so you crush 2 of them, you get 400 mil in. More of a session energy drink guy. Like I like to be sipping on something time to time. 300 milligrams, it isn't as useful. Like I don't need 300 milligrams to keep out Saturday. Probably whatever the clinical density you need is with that to level it out. So I don't completely bite a guy's head off. You can have a quick music version if you wanted to get rid of that and get a little bit of anxiety.
Incredible. Frenchie, we've already talked about ours, man. I would love like a jalapeno pineapple. I think that would be so great. Like Joe Rogan had a Kill Cliff flavor of that, and I thought it was incredible. But something like sweet with like a little hint, or like if you did like a margarita flavor, like a straight up like a margarita or spicy margarita flavor as an energy drink, I think would be just that'd be diabolical. You'd look nuts drinking it at 6 a.m. But man, that would be like, I don't know what it is. Like I could do like, if you did like Fresca and like lime juice, like that's so like the grapefruit lime is incredible. You add a little bit of like spice to that, or like tahini.
Have you boys tried Echelon yet?
I'm sorry?
No.
It's the Echelon's energy drink. It's been marketed a lot at like first responders, military. It was just at PXs on military bases, but it's got a little bit wider distribution network now. They do spicy like cayenne pepper in the energy drink. Like pre-workout, 300 milligrams in a 12-ounce can. It's friggin' good. It's just
I'm
that
Googling.
Yeah.
Yuzu cayenne.
Yeah.
Berry habanero. These look incredible. Well. We got a future review coming up here. We just got schooled on our own show.
Yeah, no, that's. I feel like for me, I'd have to go like a voltage Mountain Dew, Mountain Dew's had some legendary like temporary flavors. That's like childhood. That it would be that or like
a sarsaparilla.
Yeah, like a cream soda, sarsaparilla.
This guy
cherry
knows what he
cola does
wants.
sound good though.
He's never strayed from the bar. Like French is very much like I love that flavor and I need that flavor.
Yeah, that's like if I ever get the chance, that's gonna be the first thing out of my mouth.
Pause.
Yeah. Run that back, Turbo.
Run that shit back, Turbo. Jamie, pull up that clip. Boys, thank you for coming on. This has been incredible. Take a moment, let the fans or fan know where he or she can find you.
Any other scathing comments you want to add? Either hot takes.
Yeah. One final drop.
Encouraged, honestly.
Let's see. Okay, last skating comment. Train yourself hard. Be less. Just be less of a less of a fucking softy. Like every strength coach thinks they're like some super hard. So okay, but then like it's like great dude. Like you bench 285. Congrats, bro. Like, all right. So it's just be less of a fucking bitch. Like train so hard. Like weight room, run, all that stuff. Like come on, dude. Like have some self respect. I would say if you want to learn things about SNC, do not follow me on Instagram or Twitter because you probably won't learn anything from me. Because I don't really post a lot about like strength conditioning because like I have a lot of things I like. So if you want to see like big cat videos and like random skate videos and shit and like anime, then sure you can give me a follow. T Kennell Fitz Prep on Instagram, TK Fitz Prep on Twitter. I'm super easy to reach out to. Like I love talking training because I fucking love what we do as a profession. You know as much as I sometimes complain about it. And mainly about where I feel like we could be way better. So it comes in a place of love a little bit. So I'm just reaching out to you, shoot me like a DM, whatever. Like I'll probably get back to you. Well, shit, I'll probably give you my fucking phone number. Like I don't care. I'm not the fucking strength coach. I'm not fucking famous. Fucking man. Like.
I mean, you don't charge for a phone call. You're not gonna charge, $60 an hour or whatever it is.
Just echo TK's point. Embody the virtues you espouse. If you expect kids to train their ass off, train your ass off. Do something fucking hard. Don't be soft. You can run marathons. They can tell if you're up to do something hard. If you're a person, I've had cross country interns that are 110 pounds but they get under the bar. They start squatting over their body weight as a girl. You'll still get respect out of 300-pound men if you're about that action. It's just the way that it goes. But if you don't have gray hair, you got to be about it. If you got a couple gray hairs, you get a little bit of old man, old gal bias, because at least you used to be about it, but they can still feel it. That's for sure. I don't post anything about strength conditioning anymore because I don't have any benefit to do it. I hardly post anything on there, but I do respond to DMs. So it's just at Brodjeski on any platform, really. You'll find me. If I get bored, you might get buried in requests because I don't look there very often because you just get buried with all the porn bots. But
All right, I think that's a good way to close this one out. Yeah, no, dude, appreciate you guys. As always, guys, follow bedboys.tv on Instagram. Definitely be seeing some clips from this one, past episodes, upcoming episodes. We got some exciting merch in the making. I think we're getting close on the bucket hats. We might need to put on some of those sunglasses that Brian's wearing on the shop with the Bed Boys colors. But yeah. Anything else from you, Brian? I think you're muted, dog.
Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever that's available. Most of all, though, thank you. We'll see you in the next one.
Yep. Bed Boys out. Peace.